Lisa, so good to see you. Welcome. Hi, Beth. So good to see you. I just saw you a few days ago. That was really nice. And let's see. Hey, Wilma, how are you? Great to see everyone. Sorry, welcome. Beth, welcome.
Amy's coming in.
Yeah, this is great. Great group. Welcome, everyone.
Michelle is here.
Oh, great. Hi. See you. Amy looks, oh, she's enjoying herself outside. I love that. Got her Jimmy Page shirt on, rocking it. Hey, Michelle, thanks so much for joining us. So we will start with our wins really quickly. We have a lot to cover today. I'm going to be leaving at 11:15 because I've got another appointment, but Jamie will end the meeting and lead you guys through a meditation. So why don't we start off? My big win is I had a fantastic visit at the Care Foundation. And for those of you who joined us while I was there, thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed seeing it. And for those of you who didn't see it, watch the replay because I was at Care and I showed some of the animals like the monkey Amos and some of the tigers. So be sure to watch that. So that was my big win. And let's do this quickly because we have lots to cover. Jamie, what was your big win?
I was able to sit outside on the patio this morning in the rain and listen to the rain. And that's a real treat in the desert.
Nice. Welcome, Cherise. We're doing our wins right now. Lisa, what is your win? Thing.
My win is that I made it here.
Yay!
Yay!
Beth, what is your win? Oh. There you go.
Which Beth? Me. Okay.
You, oh, yeah. Oh,
Well,
I'm
my
sorry. Yeah,
win-
you're right. Sorry, Beth.
We have two Beths.
Two Beths. My win is that I made it to Care and I had a fantastic time with all the animals and meeting so many wonderful people in animal. It was an experience, a lifetime experience come true. So it was awesome.
Oh, Wilma, what was your win?
I survived the cold snap.
Yay!
Yay.
Oh, yeah, there's a big cold snap. Yay! Wonderful. Hey, what was your win? Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Hi.
I am going to be doing tours on the weekends at an alpaca farm.
Yay!
Yay!
And they also have
Yay!
pigs and chickens and goats and
Woo!
rabbits.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, Beth R., it is your turn.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. We can.
I got accepted to present my research at a conference, so that was quite cool.
Wow. Oh, love that. Yay, Beth. Big win. Cherise, what is your win?
I was house hunting in Tucson and may have found something, so just got back.
Oh, big win. Yay. Jackie, welcome. What is your win?
Still organizing myself here. My win, I got a distant Reiki session 4 times, and a lady in Hawaii, and she normally has a different practitioner who is out of the country, and she just let me know she would like that he is doing it again, but I do it in the days when he is not doing it. So yay.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, big win.
Really
We have
nice.
Sarah joining us, so that's great. Michelle doesn't have good service. She's pet sitting a puppy at the moment, so she's just listening, but she is happy to be here. So yay. So glad you're here. Sarah, so we start off our meetings now with just a little win. It's not a long thing. It's just name one thing you're really excited about, one win. Mine was I was at Care. And so if you want to share what your win is, that would be great.
Well, I had a great moment with a cat. Yes, I guess it was Monday, and just a wonderful breakthrough where you could see the cat start to really enjoy being touched. And it was just, that kind of connection is just always so amazing to see.
That's a big one. Thank you, Sarah. Yay.
Yeah.
Liza, welcome. What is your win?
Oh, there we go.
That I'm here.
Yay! That is
To the
great.
meeting.
Oh,
I didn't get to bed until like about 3 o'clock.
oh, Liza,
morning,
turn
but,
off your video. We
really
can't hear
late.
you. Turn off your video. There you go. Because you were breaking up.
There you
Okay, now
Oh.
share.
Oh, I just said being here because I worked late, didn't get home or didn't get to bed until about 3 o'clock this morning, so that I'm up and here. Yay.
Yay, Liza. Thank you for joining us. Mel, what is your win, if you don't mind sharing? Oh, look we get to see Mel today. Yay. Oh, you might want to turn your video off because it's bad. It's bad connection too. So turn your video off. There you go. So go ahead and share.
Is that better?
Yes, that is better.
Yes.
Okay. My win this week. I don't know.
Well, I'll come back to you.
I have one this week.
You always have a win. You're here. That's a big win.
That's right.
Mel is here. Yay. And we get to see you. That's another big win. Yay, we can see your beautiful face. Laura, I don't know if you can unmute yourself if you want to share or not. If not, that's totally fine. Oh, there she goes. I don't know if she's going to unmute. There's Laura.
Hi, sorry, I was just
Laura?
eating late breakfast.
No.
I'm not really sure. I mean, today I'm doing a cacao ceremony with my friend and I'm doing sound for it. So that's kind of a win for me.
Yeah, excellent. Those are fun.
We do really want to focus on wins. Like if you start focusing on wins throughout your day, you change your mindset to more of a positive winning mindset, right? So we do this so that we can start focusing on things. And I encourage all of you to do that throughout your day. When something happens to you, celebrate, right? Tiny habits. When we create that dopamine, it helps our mindset. So whatever happens to you, if you find a quarter, abundance flow, right? Just be sure to celebrate these things. So before we get started into our conversation about distant treatments, I want to ask really quickly, and you can put it in the chat or raise your hand. Want to know what topics would all of you like to talk about? Mindset, animal Reiki, business, whatever that is that you want to cover, share and let us know, and let's do a topic on it. Because Jamie and I are like, well, we could talk about this, we could talk about that, but we really want to talk about what you want to talk about. So does anyone have it? Okay, so Laura, business is a good one. Okay, we can talk about that. What exactly would you like to talk about, Laura, with business? Like what areas would you like us to focus on? Because we can focus on social media, we can focus on just starting your business. What would you like?
Yeah, I think like in general, social media, kind of like attracting people. I think that's where I'm at right now.
Okay, great. Perfect. We can do that. Anybody, let's see, I'd be interested in business, how to start, how to create a presence. Okay, so that again is on the same thing as attracting people. So we can do that, definitely. Web builder is a good one too. Okay, so building your web. All right. Building your website. Yeah, that is a good one. And we have some great advice on that as well. SEO is a big thing. And that's a whole topic that's like a top of Mount Everest. Okay, also do a general healing session to animals in Ukraine and disaster areas. Okay, the healing session, we're not really here to do like an actual healing session because this is more like interaction and talk. We can always dedicate, whenever we do our meditations, dedicate the meditation to the animals in Ukraine. But Charisse, go on the Facebook healing group, that's Animal Reiki Source healing group. And that is where you can create a healing session or ask for healing too. And that's a really powerful one because there are thousands of people there and that collective energy. So, but thank you for bringing that up because that was a really good point. Yeah, we're not really, because then we'd have to dedicate, like a good chunk of it. And this is more about taking the time to discuss. So great. And then same as Laura. Okay, perfect. Sounds like business is a very popular one. So we need to do some business topics. What other topics would you guys like to discuss? I thought a good one would be about negative mindset, like how we can help our negative mindset, especially when we're sitting with animals that are sick or maybe dying, or so that one too, we'll put that one down, negative mindset. I'll reword that obviously. And that could be for animal Reiki sessions. It can even be for just when you're out and about and you're feeling overwhelmed with the news and everything. So we can talk about that.
Absolutely.
What else would you like to have us discuss? I think I got all of these here. Starting a business is a big one. And Laura, not sure if you saw Liza's message. She wanted to know what kind of ceremony did you say you were doing? Oh, cacao. Okay, nice. And so anyone else have any other ideas before we get into our distance session thing? And don't be afraid. I mean, nothing is off topic. If even like the basics, even talking about the precepts, communicating with the humans. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that is a good one. Yeah.
Love that. With the humans, because that's a one that takes a lot of grace and compassion. Yeah, and also about sharing. Talk about the precepts and what there are. Oh, why there are so many variations. Okay, and Laura loves the chanting. Yes, we can definitely. Whoops, there goes my pen. We can talk about, and we can even practice some chanting. So, okay, topic on that, and then the precepts and why there are so many variations. Yes. And really the precepts, as long as you're using the precept version of that, I mean, most of them I think start off with, for today only, do not worry and do not anger. You want the do nots. And we've talked about that because do not is different than I will not anger. I will not. A do not is an instruction. Will not is maybe I will, maybe I won't, right? There's too much ambiguousness there. Well, anyway, so business, social media, attracting people, that would be email lists, which, we know about that. There's also a lot of other ways to do that. Building your website. We don't really, you're going to have to get somebody to build your website, but we have lots of information about how to properly build your website. And then negative mindset, community, communicating with the humans, chanting, and I better write that better because I did not write that well. And then the precepts, so many variations. And then Wilma, when you're saying you have someone that may be interested with an anxious dog, what would you like to talk about that, if you don't mind clarifying a little? Oh, communication. Okay, yeah, how to talk about what we do. And okay, that's a good one too. Okay. And maybe that's one we can do next week. Also, for those of you who may not know, we do have business information on our old YouTubes. If you look at our old YouTube channel, you'll see that we did talk about business quite a bit, so that can get you started. And so maybe we'll do communicating with the humans next week, and we'll talk about business the week after. So go and look at those YouTubes, and then you can let us know what maybe you want to delve further in. So let's get started on our topic, which is distant treatments. So we'll talk a little bit and then we're going to open this up. But when we talk about distant treatments, it's always very hard to know, is this working, right? You may not be feeling something. You may expect that the animal is going to do something. Maybe after your session, you talk to the person and the person's like, oh, my dog either didn't lay down or was gone or whatever. And you're like, oh my gosh, the treatment or the session didn't happen or didn't work, or the animal didn't accept it. So first and foremost, when we're doing distant sessions, distance could be you sitting across from another animal. That is distance. Distance can also be you in a different room from the animal. And then distance can be you offering, sharing space with an animal that's nowhere near you. Maybe they're 3,000 miles away. There's different variations of distance, right? But it's all distant. There is no like, oh, so if they're 3,000 miles away, I have to make my energy grow even stronger to get them. It doesn't work like that. Energy is energy, connection is connection. As soon as you connect, as soon as you think of an animal, you're connecting to that animal. And you may not feel like that, but one of the experiences that I've shared with many of you is my situation at CARE. When I went to CARE, the CARE Foundation sanctuary in Florida, and I met 2 tigers, Tigger and Pumpkin, and Kathleen met Makoto and Bolshoi. And we only spent like an hour, maybe aggregate, with these animals over 3 days. It was just 1 hour total. And then when we left and went home, a few months after that, Kathleen was diagnosed with breast cancer. But when I left, even before Kathleen got diagnosed with breast cancer, what I would do is I would meditate with the tigers, because their energy is so incredible and big. And that experience with them just made me feel like, oh, wow, I want to bring their energy into my meditations, because it was such an incredible experience to meditate with them and feel their energy and feel that just big heaviness. And so I was meditating, bringing them in, and then Kathleen gets sick. And then I'm meditating even more and bringing that tiger energy in, because I felt it was so strong. So we fast forward to a year later. Kristen, the owner of the sanctuary, wasn't on property. She said, just go onto the property. You can, do your meet and greets, do Reiki with whoever you want, but you're going to be on the property alone. And it's a big property. So when we get there, Kathleen has a situation like I'm going to share with you, like I had with the tigers. So we're coming around the corner to the tigers, and they hear our voices. And when they heard our voices, they started to look, and then they jumped off their perches and they started to chuff. So when tigers see a friend, they go, they start like grunting. And so, and it was really cool. And we're like, oh, maybe there's another volunteer back there, because we saw them do that to Kristen the year before, but they weren't doing that to anyone else but Kristen. Even all the students, nothing. They weren't connecting in that way. So it was very shocking, like, oh, wow, somebody must be back there. But there wasn't anyone. It was just us. And when we got closer, they started to rub up against the fence, and then they would jump up and want to have that connection with us. And it was really overwhelming, because you could see that year where I thought that I was just making it up, bringing them into my mind, they actually were feeling that every single time. So that when they saw me this time, it was as if they were seeing a friend, and our relationship changed after that. After that, I could call them. If they were laying down, I could go to the edge of their fence and call them, and they would come. The tigers that are there now are much friendlier. These tigers, Tigger and Pumpkin, had been abused. They were suspicious of people. They weren't open to everyone. So it was really an amazing gift, but it made me realize that distance, when we're distant from an animal and we think of them and we bring them into our meditation, they feel that. Science proves this. There are so many tests and studies out there that prove they'll take pieces of your DNA, cells from your body. And there's one famous one, it was a government one, and they took the cells from the person and they were monitoring the reaction of these cells. And so they put the person in the other room and they showed them different things like comedies and sad movies and different things that created emotion, and then they tested like their cells and their DNA as they were reacting, and they kept putting the person farther and farther and farther away, and that person's cells kept reacting, even though when they were 3,000 miles away, they kept reacting. So we have to know, and there's other scientific studies that prove that we are connected, right? Quantum physics proves we are all connected, but we forget that connection. So when we're doing a distant session, it's really hard. We get in our head and we think, oh my gosh, how am I going to connect with this animal? What am I going to do? How am I going to really make a deep connection and have them feel it? And especially if you're doing a distant session for money, how do I, do it and make the animal react in a way that the person is going to think, oh yeah, this was great, right? Because our ego gets involved. So my first tip, and I'll let Jamie share her tip too, is my first tip is you have to center yourself and let go of all negative talk, right? So you have to just believe this is going to work. That's first and foremost, your mindset. This is going to work. I'm going to sit, I'm going to create this space. This is going to work. I'm going to connect with this animal. The animal is going to either accept it or not. And with distance, I would say 100% of the time, they're going to connect with you because you're not forcing, and it's on their time. You're not in front of them. You're not trying to do anything. You're going to go inward. And with a distant, it's much easier to go inward. So that's my tip number one, is to change your mindset from negative to positive, to know that this is going to work. And Jamie, I'm not sure what tip you would like to share next.
Yes, so I think that's a great tip, because for distant, we are humans, we live in the physical world, we use our senses, and this is something totally different when we're trying to connect. So when I do it, and I don't know if this is for everybody or not, but I set my intention to connect with the animal. I like to see who they are so I can just get an idea in my mind, but then I don't worry about the connection. I don't worry about feeling a connection. I worry about going in and connecting to my true self, because when I do that, I am connected to the animals. So I know a lot of people, they're always like, saying, am I connected? I got to connect to the animal. I have to connect to the animal. Well, I don't even worry about that. I get their picture of who they are in my mind. I set my intention, and then I go in and connect to source.
I love that. And so you don't have to have a photo, but if you do,
No.
sometimes that helps.
Right.
To just have the photo. You could put it up on your screen or whatever that is. And I love that intention, right? We want to set our intention that we are connecting. The next one would be, say the precepts 3 times and get yourself centered. You want to let go of all anger, worry. You want to become humble, grateful, and compassionate. So in that space of the precepts, when we're doing a distant session, always setting yourself up with the precepts. Jamie, do you want to share something else for that?
I would just say, I don't use the pictures as far as to send distant to, or to do anything with. I'm not doing anything. I just like to meet them, so I can kind of know it's like, oh yeah, okay. And that helps me set my intention.
I love that.
Yeah.
And if you want to have a photo, you can. Sometimes for me with a photo, I like to get the picture of them in my mind, so that when I'm sitting there, I just see them as happy and loving, right? Because that's also really important. If the animal is sick, we don't want to go, oh, this animal has this goopy eye, and then see the animal with the goopy eye. We want to see them as whole and healed and loving, right? We want to see to their true heart. So sometimes a photo will help you let go of all the negative stuff outside here.
Yeah, and just focus on the love, right?
Exactly.
That we have for all animals.
At the end of the day, everyone, what we're doing is sharing love. We're not going into and creating this magical secret sauce that we're now sending across the ethers. It's like, oh, my magical Reiki is coming to you. It is not like that, people. Reiki is the tool to get to that deeper part of us. But at the end of the day, when we're sitting with an animal, we're sitting in the space of love, and that is what they are connecting to. So yeah, and Lisa's like amen. Yes, because if you think about Tigger and Pumpkin, when I was connecting to them, I was connecting in a space of, I love you so much. I have so much admiration for you. I'm so grateful for meeting you. And I'm so grateful to feel your energy with me as I do these, right? So it was all about gratitude and love. And that's really what we need to start to focus on when you start, right? Because my good friend Taya is an animal communicator, and she's a medium. And I remember her telling me years ago, the animals want you to come to them in the place of joy and love. They don't need us to come to them, oh my gosh, this is so sad, this is happening. They respond when we come to them with love and joy in our heart, because that energy is elevated. Negative energy is down here, it's heavy, it keeps you down, it's actually weakens you. So always, that's the next tip, is just create joy and love in your heart. And that is what you're going to have when you first say hello. You know, I'm Leah, I'm here to share this beautiful space. You can take as much as you need or not, right? We always want to ask permission and just say that they have choice, and then we go inward. So creating joy and love in your heart. I'm actually reading a really great book that hasn't been released yet. The author asked me to read it, and it's a beautiful book on communicating with elephants. And that is the message the elephants also gave. We want you to come to us with love and joy in your heart. It's okay to cry, they said. They said that's totally fine, but to remember the place of love, because in the elephant's mind, love is what is going to heal this planet. Love is what's going to heal any abuse that's happening. And so if we can remember that in our distance session, how easy is that, right? If our mind wanders, we can go back to this place of love. So Jamie, I'm not sure what else you want to add to that.
I think that's probably one of the most important things. Being in joy. And I think maybe all of us have had experiences where the animals have told us, you know, don't stay in the grief, don't stay in the sadness, come to us with joy and love and laughter, because otherwise we're going to go down, we're going to drown in that grief and sorrow, and we're not going to be any good to them at all. And really, when we get to our true self, that's what we're about. We're about joy, we're about love. They are too. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the space where we all should be coming, because we know ourselves. If we're sick, do we like it when somebody goes, oh my gosh, you're so sick. Oh gosh, that's so bad. What are you going to do? Are you going to be okay? Are you taking your medicine? Da, 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 da. And you're just like, oh my gosh. But if they came to you, go, oh, I'm so sorry. Well, you know what? Here, I'm just going to send you some love. I love you. I know you're going to get well. I know all is well for you. Even if we know it's terminal, right? We don't have to say, I know you're going to get well. We can still, I'm sending you so much love and gratitude. I'm so grateful for the time that I have had with you. I'm so excited for your next step, right? Because the animals have shown us they're not afraid of that next step. There is something that's different. And even the elephants from this book were saying that they are here in the physical, but also the spiritual realm. And so if you think about yourself, you're joining them in that spiritual realm where there is no pain and suffering. There is only love. So just elevating yourself with your mind and by saying the precepts, letting go of your negative mindset, that can help elevate your distance session. And then what you're going to do in your distance session, and even if you don't know animal Reiki or you haven't practiced animal Reiki and you're just learning, just doing a breath. Just focusing on your breath, saying the all is well mantra, just that alone, just keeping you focused, but always keeping love. And if you feel like worries coming in, go, no, I'm sending love. I'm sending love. I'm sending happiness. I'm sending joy. I'm sending this beautiful energy out to this beautiful animal who is connecting with me. One of the tips I have, if you're not sure, oh my gosh, I've never done a distance session, or I'm not sure if my distance session, do it with your own animal. If your animal is 5 feet from you and you're over here, practice turning your back and going inward and see what happens. That is distance. Maybe get a friend on the phone, and say, hey, I'd love to send, or share a session. We're not sending anything. I always have to correct myself because that's the old way of talking. I'd love to share Reiki, share this beautiful, loving space with your animal. Would you be open to this? It's just a space of love. There's nothing that's going to happen to them. And then ask them, if they would mind watching the cat, dog, fish, whatever it is. And then you do your session. Maybe you schedule a time and then call them and say, hey, did anything happen? Now, here's the trick. When people, any sessions, whether it's your friend or anybody, and I know Jamie has stuff to say about this as well, you're going to ask, so did you notice any difference in your, let's say it's a dog. Did you notice anything different in your dog? And they'll say, no, I didn't notice anything. Nothing at all. They got up, they walked around. Oh, okay. Well, did they lay down at all? Oh, yeah, they did. Did they fall asleep? Yeah, they fell asleep. Okay, well, that may be showing something happened. Okay, and is there, maybe you can be watching your animal for the next couple of days and see if you notice that any of the behaviors have lessened, like barking or whining or anything that you might notice. And they go, oh, actually, during the session, the postman walked by and my dog didn't bark, which is really weird. So sometimes when you're talking to people, you kind of have to not feed them, but walk them through things that might be different. And that's really important. And we have a really wonderful handout on the SARA site, I think. And if you don't see it on the SARA site, just let us know. It's about how to prepare yourself for a session and then what to talk to the person about as well. And so, Sarah, I know that you have access to the membership area, and there's a whole handout about that. And I'll try and find it and send it to you. The distance one, and also Wilma, you too. You also have access to that, but I will send it to you both on what to say to people. It's not very long. It's very good, but when you're doing your session, going back to what I was saying, just make sure that you're talking to the person and saying, these might be some of the things you'll see. Just be on the lookout. And then always we recommend 4 sessions in a row. And there is a reason for that, because the first session, especially if it's an animal you don't know, it'll be like, oh, okay, I don't know who you are and you're connecting with me. And so it's kind of like a get to know you. And you can tell the people this too if they do 4 sessions. And if you're doing it with a friend, I recommend you do 4 sessions. And then the second session, the animal goes, okay, yeah, I'm used to this. I know you. 3rd session, 4th session. You'll see it in the shelter. By the 4th session, the animal is really relaxed at that point, because, it's like a stranger saying, oh, I'm going to give you a massage. You might not be very relaxed the first time, but then the second time you're like, oh yeah, okay. And then 3rd and 4th, you're like, oh, okay, I know this person. I know what they're going to do. I know that feeling. So Jamie, sorry, I didn't mean to talk so long on that.
That's all right. Yeah, I like to, before I start, give general tips to people, but I don't want to tell them what to specifically look for, because then they might be making things up. Just they might lay down, they might fall asleep, they might move around, something simple like that. But Leah's absolutely right. You usually, and many times, people have told me, well, nothing happened. Well, they climbed in my lap, but they don't usually do that. That was a little weird. And then sometimes you get lucky and you have owners who are really in tune. I worked with a nose work client, and she knew her dog well, and she could tell immediately that he was tuned in to me and picked up. But then she would sometimes start asking questions like, well, what message did you get from him? So then I would have to explain, I didn't get, it's not animal communication. I had to explain the difference. Sometimes you get, they do give you some kind of message or show you something, but that's not my focus. So then I would have to explain how that's not the focus of this. This is just creating a space and holding it for the animal to step into.
I want to share something really important about something that happened at CARE. So the big Liger Chimera, he had something, he has like a little runny eye. It's, you know, there was wind, it could be allergies or anything. Kristen, the owner, wasn't worried about it. So Kelly and I were doing a chair treatment or something. Oh, the time frame recommendation for 4 sessions would be like a 30 to 45 minute session, Beth, depending on and then so the session length should be 30 to 45 minutes. You want to give yourself, however you think, you want to give at least 30 minutes of pure meditation. So if you think you're going to need time to settle down before, you know, give yourself that 45 minutes. The time frame can be 4 days in a row. It can be once a week, for 4 weeks. I wouldn't go past that. I wouldn't go any further. So really, ideally 4 days in a row or every other day maybe, but just very kind of close together, no longer than a month away. So you can do one every Sunday or whatever. You're probably going to see a bigger reaction if you do them closer together. But thanks for asking that. But anyway, so there was a woman over here working with, or, you know, sharing space with Chimera. And she said, so he jumped down from his perch and he was trying to get as close to Kelly and I as possible because he knows us. And he was rubbing his head, and it happened to be the same side as his eye. And I knew he was trying to get closest to us because he was trying to climb up on his tub to get as far in without falling into his little pool. And so he's doing this and he's rubbing his head because that's what he does when he sees a friend. He rubs his head, right? So she says at the end, oh, he's showing me that his eye is bothering him a lot and he's rubbing it because it's bothering him so much. And I'm like, no, it's not. And I was explaining to her, this is what he's doing. Because if his eye was bothering him, he would be doing it when he's laying down. He'd be rubbing his eye. He'd be worried with his eye, but he wasn't. And so she was more concerned about that eye because her perception was that the eye was causing him pain and she couldn't get past that. And that's the problem when we focus on something that we see. We immediately let our ego take forth. And then that same woman, we brought out Wolfie, who's a 14-year-old dog. He's got arthritis. He's 14 years old. He's a big wolf mix. And you know, he's getting down to the end of his life. And she said, oh, she was like petting him and working with him. She's like, oh, my hands have blood red chakras in them. And I know that this is horrible pain that he's experiencing. And we're just like, oh my God, how is this helping Wolfie, right? How is this helping the animal when we're focusing? It's not our job. You can say, if something came up and you feel the need to share it, like let's say you felt, you know, sometimes the animals will share feelings with you, but a lot of times, remember, it's our perception. Our ego is very powerful. And if we think that dog is in pain and we're connecting with it, we might start to feel the pain. And a lot of people will say, well, I feel the pain because I'm an empath. It's also your mind, your ego is very powerful. And if you think there's pain and you want to take that pain on, then you're going to feel that pain. Maybe the animal is sharing it with you. So do you really want to focus on that pain and expand that pain? Or do you want to say, thank you for sharing. I'm sending love to you. I'm sending love to that pain, right? Thank you for sharing about your eye. I'm sending love to your eye. I'm sending love. We aren't there to diagnose and to fix. We are there to support the animal. So if you get anything in your session, send love. Now, if you're an animal communicator, you can tell the person, hey, some things came up. If you would like to do an animal communication session, here's what that looks like. You can also tell the person beforehand, what I do is animal Reiki. This means that I just meditate, bring my body into balance. My energy is then in balance. And that is what your animal picks up on. That is what your animal is connecting to. I send love. I create love within my body. I am in balance. I let go of any kind of negative emotions I'm hanging on to. And that's what supports your animal, because animals are sensitive to energy. And animals, that's what they're connecting with. They're not connecting to any magical Reiki energy. they're connecting to my energy of balance. And you can tell them what I do is not animal communication. So any messages, anything that come up, I just thank the animal, send love, or you don't even have to say that. You know, if they send messages, I am an animal communicator, we could do a separate session, but this is not animal communication. This is just emotional support for your animal. And I do that through meditation and that connection and that space. And however that sounds to you, you can put it in your own words, but you know, we're not offering anything but a balanced space of love, peace, and calm. We're not sending Reiki to fix anything. In that beautiful space of support, that is where true healing. It's 11:11 ladies here. So for those of you who want to, so in that beautiful space, that supported space, that's where healing can occur. And that's where the animal can start to let go of any kind of physical issues they might be hanging on to, or emotional issues they might be hanging on to. But that is really what we're doing. And we always want to make that very clear that we do not get messages to share. The animal might share messages with us, but we're actually sending love to that. Now, if you're an animal communicator and you want to go further with that after the Reiki session, then you can always offer that, or you could offer it before that. If I get messages, we can talk about it at the end. And we can talk about, but again, we don't want to focus on those messages in our animal Reiki session, because once we start focusing on those messages, now it becomes animal communication and it's no longer Reiki. And now the session is no longer supportive. Now it's a different session. Now you have to start talking to the animal. You have to start verifying. That's not what we want with animal Reiki. And especially be careful of that with your distant healing, because you might feel, oh, you know, the animal's sharing, I got something. Oh, this is distant. Maybe I should no, just send love and let it go. So Jamie, I'm sure what you want to add to that.
Yes, absolutely. You know, and that's what we have to be careful about. And it makes a huge difference, because remember, when we start focusing on what's wrong, and it doesn't matter if it's just with the animal, any part of your life, when you start focusing, this is wrong, I want to change this, even I want to change this, I want, you know, you're focusing on lack, or you're focusing on the problem, you just create more of it. Right. So we just need to be the light when we sit with animals. We need to go, we need to be the light, we need to be joy, we need to be love. We don't need to even think about if there's a problem, because we don't want to create more of that. We don't want to focus on it. We're kind of pinching ourselves off from our light when we do that.
Love
so
that.
Let's allow the light to flow.
I love that, because think about the lady that was sharing space with Wolfie and sharing space with Chimera. She robbed herself of that beautiful connection with the liger, who was open, who wanted it. And in fact, what did he do? He bypassed her to try and get closer to Kelly and me, because we were in that space and he was attracted to that space. And it was also getting close to feeding time. So, you know, it could have been he was rubbing because he could hear the gator, you know, way across the property as they were going around bringing food. You know, there's so many different things, but she wanted to spend time worrying about the eye. What could she do? There's nothing she could do for that eye. But what she could have done was share this beautiful, loving space. And she could have shared that beautiful, loving space and had this beautiful connection with Chimera, who is this huge 700-pound liger. And instead, she just didn't want to take up that opportunity. She wanted to be able to diagnose and focus on that. And so we just want to be really careful about that. So I have to bounce off. I apologize. I have to go to a meeting. So thank you. So Jamie is going to open it up to all of you for Q&A. And then if there's some questions that you have more, you can always email me at Leah at Animal Bonds or at the Leah D'Ambrosio, whichever email you have, and I can answer questions too. So bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye, Leah. Thank you. All right.
Hey, Mary Lynn. Bye. And welcome, Gwen. Bye.
Welcome, Gwen. Okay. So let's go ahead and open it up. if anybody has any questions, any comments, any experiences that you'd like to share, now is the time. You can raise your, Wilma, did you raise your hand? Yes, Wilma, go ahead.
I find that when I do distant healing, the owner observes at the same time as I'm doing it, and they fall asleep with their pet.
Oh, excellent. Yes, yes, that's great because we do sometimes, you know, they're receiving it as well. So that's wonderful. Anybody else, just raise your hand. Mary Lynn. Welcome.
Yes, well, thank you. I'm late because I was at the shelter and I couldn't tear myself away. It was tough. But I wanted to bring up a little update on that shepherd gunner that I've been with these last few weeks. And today was fantastic for me and for him, but for me, because I really focused on I am the light, and I'm expanding the light of love. And anytime that I found myself looking over at him and saying, oh my, you know, what more can I do? Or am I doing enough? Blah, blah. And I just cut that off and just kept focusing on my meditation, my relaxation. And I noticed it really affected me and my energy flow and him. And it was terrific because they put him in a large conference room, so he had lots of room to run about and walk around. And then after I got a sense that to end the Reiki session and play with him. That's what I observed from him. And because he was reaching into a basket of toys. So sure enough, what I found out is in throwing tennis balls like every couple of seconds, he was running across the room, grabbing them, and then he catches them in his mouth. He can jump up and catch them. And it's like I was saying, fly ball, you know, I was having so much fun and so was he. And I just said,
and that's the joy that we were talking about.
Joy,
before,
yeah.
Right?
Right.
When we bring joy into that, what a difference that, you
What
know,
a difference it really was
have
for me.
come and grown with your sessions with him by letting go of the outcome and focusing just on the joy and the love. That's great, Mary Lynn.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, he's such a love. Oh.
So who else would like to share? Anybody else have a question or would like to share? Beth, yes, unmute yourself and
I would like to get some ideas on how to start doing, how do you get people to want to do Reiki sessions? I mean, for free and to get started. Any ideas?
You know, and we can ask some other people too. You know, it's always good to start with people you know. So you can ask your friends. You might know people involved in animal rescue that are fostering animals. Start close to home because they're probably going to be more open to help you, even if they don't understand it, and you can get feedback from them. And that would be a good place just to start so you can get confident, you know, in offering Reiki and just get a feel for having to work with clients, right? Does anybody else have any suggestions for that? Liza.
Yeah, people that you're close to, or just I do a market. I just started last year and it starts again at the end of April. I have a booth and it's just for information about Reiki for humans and Reiki for animals. And I do little just 3-minute sessions. And it only takes a minute usually for somebody to even start feeling something. And I've gotten clients that way. That's a good way. I also do at one of my jobs that I work part-time at a bar. I actually just did Reiki for a customer the other day, just for like a few minutes. She's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. I said, and imagine if you were laying on a table for an hour, how great that would feel. So those are just some things.
Where's your booth?
I live in Oregon. It's in Hillsboro, about 25 miles west of Portland.
And you can
What do
look
you-
for events around your community where they let vendors come in. You could do something like that. Spring's coming up in most places, so it might be a good time to start checking out farmers markets or, you know, just events, festivals that go on.
Also, Beth, if you could check with your vet, and perhaps you could give a short talk demo. And the other is if you belong to a gym, you could ask about, you know, having a talk about what Reiki is and animal Reiki.
And if there's pet groups in your community, you know, like we have clubs around here for specific breeds and different dog sports and just pet lovers that get together. You know, you could contact them and see if they'd be interested in a short little presentation on it and how it can benefit. The important thing is to keep the focus on the benefits so people understand, you know, how it's helping.
Mm-hmm. Also, one other thing, I networked with a woman who had done some pet sitting for me. And she's also a level 1 Reiki practitioner. And so she and I are meeting tomorrow, in fact, to see about a partnership of some kind.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So there's some great ideas, Beth. Does anybody else have any questions or comments before we go into the meditation?
Sorry.
Oh, somebody does.
That was me. I was unmuted still. I did want to just add, so I was, you know, when I spoke about what I was talking about at my booth, I specifically was talking about working with a human, but people are allowed to bring their dogs. And so if they have their dog with them, I just have them, I explain about how it works and have them have their animal sit or lie down next to them. And then just explain how what you're feeling, your animal is also feeling.
Yep. Excellent point. Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to share something, and well, I'll share an example. I was asked to go work with a cat that had been recently brought into a small rescue, and the person who runs the place was like, oh, I've never seen such an aggressive cat. I just don't know what to do, and that kind of thing. And she was going to be in this separate room and actually inside of a crate. So before I even went into the room, before I even opened the door, I just really centered myself and I told the cat, I love you. And I'm going to come in and we're going to just share some space and see what happens. And I just was feeling this really strong feeling of love and connection with the cat before I even opened the door. And it made such a difference. You know, I went in, the cat started rubbing against the cage bars, and just like seemed so happy and just seemed like she was really feeling it. So, you know, that's just to say, you know, before you even are going into a situation, if you start connecting with that energy, it can really be profound.
That's a great point, Sarah. Absolutely, that we need to get ourselves ready. Michelle, you have your hand up.
Yeah, just a quick question. Do you ever combine sound healing with the Reiki session?
I know there are people around here who do. But again, you want to keep the Reiki session. It's not like you couldn't do the Reiki session and then after that's complete, do the sound session, but you have to be very clear that there is a separation between the two, because that's two different modalities that you're doing. And we don't want to dilute, for lack of a better word, our Reiki session that we're offering to the animals or people or whoever we're around. But I know there's lots of people around here who do that, and they promote it as a Reiki sound healing, which, I think they're trying to do it all at once. But for us, it's better with the way that we offer the energy to the animals, that we have our Reiki session. We keep that very clear. We focus, we're going inward. And if you're doing the sound session, it's harder to go inward and just focus on that light. So we do the Reiki session, then the sound session could do it. Do you do sound sessions?
It's something I want to get into. I have the crystal singing bowls and quite a few instruments. So,
right.
Okay. After, that sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. And Laura said she does do vibrational sound therapy, but starts with the Reiki meditation. Nice. Yeah. So just remember, even like if it's sound bowl, if it's communication, if it's color light therapy, if it's aromatherapy, those are all different modalities than Reiki. And we need to kind of honor each one so that it can be, that it can actually do and work for the animal in a manner that it should. We don't want to pinch that off and dilute it down. We want to be pure to each modality. All right. Well, it's 11:27. We may go a little over if that's okay. And I would like to do a little different meditation. I'd like to do one on gratitude, but we are going to start as we usually do. So just get comfortable. And so Sophie jumped down so I can put my hands in Gasso now. And let's just start by taking a few deep breaths, two or three deep breaths in. And then exhale out any stress or tension. Another deep breath in. And exhale out. And one more just to release stress and tension. And now set your intention to feel love and joy, and allow this joy and love to radiate out to all those in need, all the animals in need, all the people in need, the planet. And let's start by taking a slow, deep breath in. And as you pull it down all the way to the belly, visualize it igniting that light, that universal divine light that resides inside you, your true self. And as that light ignites, it spreads up through your body, your cells, and goes out on your exhale into the space around you. Take another slow, deep breath in, pulling it all the way to the belly, igniting that light that resides inside you. And then exhale it back up the body, outward into the space around you. Take another slow, deep breath in, ignite the light, and exhale out into the space around you. And now just let your breath find a natural rhythm. And think of 3 good things in your life. It can be anything. It can be a cup of coffee, a pet, a shower you had in the morning, food in your refrigerator, waking up, anything that you're grateful for. Just think of it, bring it to mind. And focus on this first thing and send thanks to it. pick one of those things and send thanks to it. And just let the feeling of gratitude come from your heart and bring joy and allow a smile to come to your face. So much gratitude and joy for this thing that you're grateful for. Now imagine whatever it is that you're grateful for in this moment, that it's aware of your thanks, and see it smiling back at you. See it shimmering with this same warm feeling that you're feeling. Knowing that your thanks have been received and welcomed. And now I'd like you to bring to mind the second item that you're grateful for. And again, send it love and gratitude and thanks. Bring it to mind and just send thanks and love and gratitude. Let that bring a smile to your face. And now imagine this item, this person, this animal, whatever it is, receiving your thanks. See it smiling back and shimmering with this same warm feeling of gratitude and joy and love. It's received your thanks, and they are welcomed. Finally, bring to mind the third and last item that you were focused on. And just feel the sensation of gratitude for it build up in you, this warm feeling and the love and the joy, and feel a smile come to your face. And just hold that thought and those sending out that beautiful vibration of love and joy. And now imagine whatever it is you are grateful for, that they're aware of your thanks. See it smiling back at you. And now it's shimmering with this same love and joy and warmth that you feel. This gratitude. Know that your thanks have been accepted and welcomed. And now you have successfully started the flow of gratitude in your life today. You'll be aware of items and people and animals as they appear. Then you'll remember to be grateful. And you'll feel the warmth, and you'll feel a smile come across your face. And you'll send a thank you to whatever you're grateful for. Now go ahead and take another deep cleansing breath in all the way down to the belly. Release it. Become aware of your body, your breath, the room you're in. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. All right, so I am grateful that you were all here. I know Leah was too. Thank you everyone for joining us. We so appreciate it. You make this such a wonderful space for all of us. And hopefully we will see you next week, everyone.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go out there and just be grateful for everything today.
Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a good week.
Yes.
Thanks, Jamie. Thank you, everybody.
Yes. Bye-bye.